On this week's video, we're replacing our old XKGlow RGB fender vent lights on our Jeep Wrangler with their new XKMax version. What's up, YouTube, and how's it going today? Fortunately, we've got another rainy day on our hands, which is why we are back in the parking garage for today's video. If you're returning to this channel, I wanted to say welcome back and thanks for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, my name is Dan. This is my 2019 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, aka the Harlequin, and this is the Evolved Jeeping YouTube channel, where typically I create videos where I install and review aftermarket Jeep parts. For this video, I've actually got a small announcement for the channel because this video is actually going to be the first video to the newest mini-series on the channel. And this mini-series is actually sponsored or brought to you by XKGlow. I recently had the opportunity to partner up with XKGlow and become one of their newest ambassadors for the brand. And with that, they've actually gone ahead and sent me an assortment of their newest XKMax products to add to the Jeep. The plan for this mini-series is to go ahead and create individual videos for each of the items, where we'll go ahead and show you guys how to install them, show you how they function, and give you guys my honest review of them. And don't worry, just because I've become an ambassador for the brand, it doesn't mean that I'm going to fluff the reviews in any way. If for some reason I do discover a negative thing about any of these items while I'm installing it, I will let you guys know, because the main purpose for all of the videos I make on this channel is to give you the information to install them, give you information about the product, all to help you determine if you want to add any of these items to your build. And during this mini-series, not only am I going to be able to show you guys how each of the individual items work, but I'm also going to be able to show you guys how the items can work together. The reason is because all of the XKGlow XKMax products are actually designed to work as a complete system that can actually be controlled with a single app. So during this mini-series, as we continue to add new XKGlow items to the Jeep, we're actually going to be expanding our XKMax system. And during this mini-series, we'll be able to show you guys how this system grows and what you can do with it. So as mentioned on the intro for today's video, the XKGlow item that we're going to be installing on today's video is actually the XKMax RGB addressable fender vent lights for the Jeep Wrangler JL and Gladiator JT. These are basically a light replacement for the front air vents that are actually located on the front quarter panels right behind the front fenders on both the Wrangler and the Gladiator. These are going to give you some extra lighting features, which include an amber turn signal. That's actually going to be the 3 strips located on the front side of each piece. Then on the outside edge, it actually has a programmable glow strip that can actually be adjusted and programmed using their Bluetooth app. These are actually not the first version of this that I've installed on my Jeep, because currently I actually have the old generation. These are well before the whole creation of the XKMax system, and from what I've read online, the new version is a lot better than the previous one, so I really can't wait to get these installed to see what the differences are and to figure out if they're actually worth it. And just so you know, the current fender vent lights have actually been on the Jeep for about 4 to 5 years now. And honestly, they're in great shape. So there's no sign of any water damage, no cracking, no fading. And as of 8 months ago, they were still functioning. The reason I say 8 months ago is because currently they are not functioning, but it has nothing to do with the product. It actually has to do with the decision I made to disconnect them. These were actually one of the first products I ever installed on the Jeep, and it was one of the first videos on the channel. And honestly, when I was doing the installation, I kind of did a little bit of a hack job completing it. Either it's just my lack of experience at that time or I was just lazy, but in the end, the wiring of this was not the greatest it could be. And because of that, I actually think I was experiencing issue due to that. What I was experiencing is that sometimes at night when my headlights were on, I would actually experience some hyper flashing from one of these. So what would happen is this would flash a little faster when the turn signal was on than all of the other amber turn signals. It was always something that kind of bugged me. I did deal with it. You know, it wasn't a big deal. But when I was under there, I looked at that wiring and said, you know what, that's probably what's happening. And we just might as well just disconnect them. So I went ahead and disconnect them with the intention of going ahead and replacing them with something new. But what I didn't know is that I was actually going to end up replacing them with their predecessor. And I can't wait to get these installed because I do miss the side turn signal. And I can't wait to see if these have some added features built into them. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get these installed. But before we do that, let's go ahead and flip this camera around and unbox this to show you guys what it comes with. Well, guys, I just discovered that XKGlow actually sells these lights in two different configurations. The first configuration they offer is actually the complete kit configuration, where it actually comes with everything you need to install these items as an individual product. This means it comes with the lights, the cords that connect the lights, the controller, the wiring harness for the controller, and the key fob. The second configuration, which is actually the configuration we're going to be installing today, is actually the add-on kit. The add-on kit only comes with the lights and the cords to connect that. The reason XKGlow ended up sending me just the add-on kit is because they sent this with the intention of me adding it to the atomic addressable lighting kit. Because in today's video, we're not going to be installing the atomic addressable lighting kit, and we're only going to be installing the fender vent lights, we're actually going to go ahead and pull the controller, the wiring harness for the controller, and the key fob from this kit and use it for today's installation of this item. Not a big deal, just something I had to learn. When I opened this box and didn't see a controller, I was kind of shocked. So I did a little research and discovered that there is two configurations. It's actually pretty cool that they offer this in two configurations because in the event you are adding this to an existing kit or you're buying a kit to add it to, you don't have to waste money buying a controller that you're not going to need because this add-on kit is a little bit cheaper than the full system. So now that you know what we're going to be doing with these two kits, let's go ahead and take a look at the parts that come with this kit. As mentioned, the add-on light kit only comes with the two lights, the two cords that connect the lights, a bag of T-connections, and the user manual. These three items here, which are the controller, the wiring harness for the controller, and the key fob, are all a part of the atomic addressable lighting kit, which we're not going to be installing today. So we've gone ahead and borrowed those three items for the installation of the fender vent lights. The first item we're going to take a look at in depth is the light itself. Overall, this light looks pretty much the exact same as the previous one we installed on the Jeep. Same type of plastic, same plastic clear lenses here, same texture, same embossed logo. Yeah, it just looks the exact same, which isn't surprising because the current light is performing fine. So there's no reason to change something that's not working. On the back, we've got our two clip-in locations. We've got our two guide pins. We've got our double-sided tape. One thing that I am noticing that's a little bit different on the back of this has to do with the wires. So the first wires we have are the actual tap-in wires. These look to be the same as the previous generation. We've got our red wire for our running light. We've got our blue wire for our turn signal. We've got our black wire for our ground. And then we've got our white wire for our power. What's different is the fact that on the back, we've got two light connection wires. The previous generation only had one connection to connect to the control hub, but this one's got two, and it looks like one of them is a male connection, this one here, and this one is a female connection. The reason this one has two connections is because these are part of the XKMax series, and they're designed to daisy chain to other kits. And that is exactly what we're going to do when we install the Atomic one. But for now, we're only going to use one plug because we're only installing these fender vent lights. So that's pretty much the only difference about these. Maybe there's some internal differences, but those are things I can't really see. Then we've got our extension cords. Again, male, female. These are just designed to go from the light to the control hub. We've got our T connections. So it is great that they provide you with the T connections needed to connect these to your vehicle. But I have to say, from my experience of using these, they're not that great. I noticed when I installed or used these on the first installation that I ended up having connection issues where the wires were starting to come loose and some of the features would just simply stop working. For today's installation, I am not going to be using this. I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit different. It's a little accessory that I bought. It's a plug and play accessory, and I will show you guys that when we get into the installation. But for me, I'm not going to be using it, but that doesn't mean you can't use them. Obviously, manual, we'll go through that. A couple things to note about the control. So if you're buying the kit, you are going to get a controller. Again, this is the controller for the Atomic one. The only difference for the controller that you're going to get with this kit, if you buy the kit version, is it's actually going to only have two light plugins. It's not going to have 4 ports. So basically yours is just going to have that, and it's most likely not going to have this connection here, which is actually the trigger wires. So these are designed to be tapped into different areas on your vehicle to trigger different sequences. That we're not going to be using for these fender vent lights. That is something I'm going to show you when we install the Atomic addressable light kit. On this controller, we've got, I think this is a button here. I can't remember, but it might be. I know this is a light that actually glows when the system is working. This is our power connection, and this power connection connects to this wiring harness. So we have the connection right here. On this, we've got a switch here, which is used to turn the system on and off. We've also got a fuse, which, let's open this up to see what type of fuse it is. Oh, that's a real pain in the butt right now. It looks like it's just a regular 10 amp fuse, so that's good. Then we've got our battery connections, power and ground. And then we've got this box here, which I'm not quite sure what this box does, but it might be just like a relay or a fuse box, or it could be a Bluetooth connection. I'm not sure, but I believe this is the Bluetooth connector. So, but there is this other box on this. And then we've got the key fob, which again would come with the complete kit. And this can basically be programmed to activate different sequences. You can set this up in your app or in the controller so that you can easily press this to trigger things without having to connect your phone. The first step of the installation is to go ahead and remove the fender and the wheel well liner. Obviously, I've gone ahead and already done that, and I'm not going to show you guys the steps I did because my process was a little bit different than a factory fender, and mainly due to the fact that I have aftermarket wheel well liners and have already gone ahead and fender chopped my fenders. So the removal was a little bit different. But if you are doing this for the first time, you can either go onto YouTube and search up front fender removal on a Jeep Wrangler JL or Gladiator, and you can follow a video there, or you can go ahead and follow the instructions that XKGlow has given, which, from what I read, look pretty much correct. So you can just follow the instructions and do it. But the steps are pretty straightforward. All you have to do is go into the wheel well, pull the plugs that hold the bottom of the wheel well liner in place, then go with a 10mm bolt and undo the 4 bolts that are up in the wheel well. So there's going to be 1 here, here, and 2 at the front. Once you remove those, you can then go ahead and just simply pull on the fender to release it from the body. When you're doing this, it is going to sound like you are breaking things, but don't worry, you're not breaking the fender. What you're breaking, and these typically break every time, are these white clips that hold the fender. I do recommend that you pick up some of these white clips before doing this installation because most likely you are going to break them and you are going to need to replace them before putting the fender back on. Once you have the fender removed, we then have access to the vent. As you can see, I've already removed the old fender vent light, But for the stock one, what you will do is you'll actually just go up under here with like a tool or something, push the clip, and pry it off the body. Most likely you will end up breaking this. That does happen. I think that happened with mine, but it's not a big deal because you're not going to be reinstalling it anyways. Once you have the fender removed and the factory air vent removed, it's time to go ahead and install the new fender vent light. To do this, you're just going to go to the back, peel off the 3M tape, just the red part. Then you're going to take the cords and you're going to guide them through the top opening. So just slide them in there and bring the other two in there as well. And then simply go ahead and align the guide pins. And then just simply press it into place. One thing I forgot to mention is before you apply this, make sure to clean the surface with alcohol solution so that the 3M double-sided tape will stick to the fender. The next step of the installation is to go ahead and wire up the turn signals and the running light for this light. To do that, you're going to take the 4 colored wires that are running out of the back of the light and simply go ahead and tap them into the main wiring harness for the front turn signal that's located in the front fender. Just to remind you guys, because I did mention it already, is that the white wire is actually the 12-volt battery supply, the black wire is the ground, the blue wire is the turn signal, and the red wire is the running light. XKGlow has actually already provided you with a full bag of T connections that you can use to tap into the main wire harness. They've also gone ahead and provided a full wiring diagram in their instructions. In this wire diagram, you can actually see how all the wires are supposed to connect. They've also gone ahead and even listed out the colors. But I will tell you guys is that the colors they have listed might not be the same as on your vehicle. And I know that because the colors on my vehicle are different. But with the way they've done their diagram, they've actually orientated the plug. And if you take your plug and orientate in the same orientation, you can actually just count down the wire connections to figure out which wire is which. So if I orientate this in the same way and I go down 2, I'll know that that wire is going to be my turn signal. If I go down 3, that is my ground wire. If I go down 4, that is going to be my LED running light. And if you don't have the LED fender lights on the front, then you can actually use number 1 as the running light. So it's really nice to see that they've provided this in their diagram. Honestly, this was not in the previous instructions for the previous generation, which meant when I was installing that one, I actually had to do a little bit of guessing to figure out which wire to tap into, and it ended up taking a lot of time. And I know a lot of you guys ran into that because the major comment that I had on my video was, what color are you tapping to? And honestly, I couldn't tell you that because, as I said, the colors that are listed here are different. So every vehicle can be a little bit different. So it's good to see they finally have that, which gives you the ability to just follow this and tap it in. For myself, I'm not going to be using this, nor am I going to be using the T connections. I don't want to use these because I've seen them fail and lose connection. What I'm going to be using is actually a plug and play adapter that I picked up from Infinite Off-Road. This is designed to simply plug into the connection, and it gives me 3 wires to use to connect for my turn signal and my running light. If you're interested in this part, I will put a link below. Pretty cool item. I definitely like it because it takes the guessing out of this, and it's going to make it a lot cleaner of an installation. If XKGlow is watching this, which I'm assuming they are, they should definitely consider making these and adding them into the assortment, either as an option that you can add or just simply another part you can buy. But all you need to do is simply disconnect this plug and take the connection and simply connect it up. Once you have it connected, you're going to have your 3 wires here. And the 3 wires are black is ground, red is running light, yellow is turn signal. So it's pretty straightforward. All you do is connect black to black, yellow to blue, red to red. And then for the white one, you're going to go ahead and run a wire all the way to your main battery, or at least some form of a 12-volt power supply. If you do all this, you're going to end up with turn signals in both the day and the night. And when you turn on your headlights or your running lights, you're going to end up with an amber running light on the side of your vehicle. For myself, I don't want the amber running light on the side of the vehicle. So what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. Also going to be a little easier to install. I'm actually going to take my white wire and my blue wire, tap them together, and then simply go ahead and connect them to the yellow wire. I'll connect the black wires, and then for the red ones, I'm not going to connect that. This is going to give me turn signals in both the day and the night, but it's not going to give me running light. Also, means I don't need to run a power wire all the way to the other side. So that is pretty much what I'm going to end up doing. Let's go ahead and get those connections, because next we're going to connect the lights to the controller, which is pretty much the final step of this installation. As you just saw, we finished wiring up the turn signal and it's working just fine, which means we can now get into the next step, which is to wire up the glow light. For the glow light, we're going to find the other 2 plugs that are coming out of the back of the light, which are these 2 ones here with the teal ends. And we're going to take our extension wire, which again, there's 2 of these, 1 for each side, and we're going to find the female end of the wire. So as you can see, there's a female one here and a male one here. We're going to take the female one and we're going to connect it to the male connection coming out of the back of the light. Just simply click it into place. Once it gets in place, you can go ahead and zip tie them together to secure them together. The reason we want to use the female end is because on the control box, it has a female connection coming out of it. So on the end of this extension, we need the male connection. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to simply take this wire and we're going to fish it through the fender and then across the top of the engine bay to the other side of the vehicle. The reason I'm doing this, which again will vary on your vehicle, is because my plan is to mount my control hub box inside the cab behind the passenger dash. So I need to run this wire to that side of the vehicle so that I can connect it to the hub on that side. One more thing we want to do before we close this side up is we actually want to go ahead and secure the female end that's coming out of the back of the light. As I mentioned, these lights are designed to chain together with other lights, which means they have a connection on here. What they should have provided is some type of cap to close this up. The reason that would have been an important thing is because without that cap, dirt and debris is going to get in here and it's going to corrode the connection, which is going to prevent us the ability to connect other devices to it. So what I'm going to do to help prevent anything from damaging this, we're going to go ahead and tape this up, and then we're going to go ahead and close the fender up. Once we close the fender up, we're going to repeat the same process on the other side, and then I'm going to come back to show you guys the final step, which is installing the control hub. Well, guys, after you have both lights installed and the fenders and the wheel well liners reinstalled, the last step of the installation is to install the controller and the wiring harness to power everything up. As I mentioned earlier, my plan is to mount the control hub inside my cab behind the dash. This is not a required location. This is more of a desired location. And the reason I'm deciding to do this is because I want to ensure that this controller is well protected from the elements. And also, I want to avoid extra unneeded clutter inside the engine beside the battery. That being said, I do believe, and I might be a little wrong on this, but I believe these are designed to be weatherproof, and they are intended to be placed in the engine bay if you desired. So as I plan to mount them in there, the only problem about this finish of this installation was that it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to show you how to finish the steps from inside the cab. So instead of putting it in there, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to install it in the engine bay. Later on, I'll go ahead and remount it, but for now, I'll show you here, which again, might be the location you want, so it might actually be kind of useful. What we're going to do is we're going to take the wiring harness and we're going to connect it to the battery. So we're going to take these two ends. We have our ground and our power, and we're going to take our 10mm wrench and undo the power connections. We're then going to take these connections and put them onto the battery. Then once you've got those tight, you're going to take the connection here, which is this funky power connection, and connect it to the controller. So simply just slide those together. Make sure it's nice and tight and connected. And then you're going to take your connections for your lights and plug them into two of the connections. Again, guys, this is the control box for our atomic addressable lighting kit that we're going to be installing later. If you bought this system as a kit, you're going to have a little bit of a smaller box with only two connections. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. You just plug them in. For this one, we're just going to plug them into A and B anyways, because this actually has 4. So we'll just do A and B. Just make those connections. And then if you want, zip tie them closed. But that's kind of up to you. Then after that, the next step is to go ahead and fire it up by pressing this switch right here. You're simply going to click it. The blue light's going to come on. Then you're going to get the green light glowing behind the XKGlow logo. This means that the system is now powered up, and the next step is going to be to connect it to your Bluetooth app. But today, we're not going to actually go ahead and do that. We're actually going to come back in a couple days after we've had some time to test it out, so that way I know exactly how the system works, and I can go ahead and show you guys the steps to connect it and how to make everything work and function and everything you need to do. So right now, we'll see you guys in a couple days. For now, enjoy this little montage of all the features.
Keep
And we're back. As you can see, the lights are functioning. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go ahead and show you guys the XKMax mobile app. And that is an app that you need to download to your smartphone to control the glow features on this light. So let's go ahead and flip this camera around so I can show you guys how to connect your mobile device to this light and then show you guys all the features and functionality that you can do using that app. So when you fire up the app for the first time, the first thing you need to do is connect the app to the light. To do this, you're going to click the 3 white lines in the top right. That is going to show you a list of all the available devices. The only device we have is this one right here. That is the XKGlow XKBD2. We're going to click tap to pair. Then we're going to put our mobile device close to the controller. Then you're going to get this legal notice. You're going to click I understand. And then it's going to show the device connected. This is going to be the main screen. From here, you can actually click and turn off the device by doing that. You can also go ahead and turn off different zones. So as you can see, we're clicked off 1, clicked off 2. We've got them set up to 2 different zones, but then we don't have 3 and 4. And again, guys, remember, we're using the Atomic controller. If you ordered the regular kit, you're actually going to just only have 2 zones. After that, we're going to click on the side of it, and that's going to close that window. The first tab we have is the palette. This is this tab right here. Up at the top, we have our 3 different zones, which are actually labeled by A, B, and C. I believe you can maybe customize that. I'm not quite sure. But you can select which zone you want by selecting one of those. Right now, we're on the B side. That is going to highlight the 2 at the bottom. Here, you can drag the 2 around to change the colors. So we can change any color we want. We can go white. We can go in, out. We can leave it in red just like that. We can go all red just like that. Then you can actually go ahead and select the way you want the light to do. So we can actually change it to a left chase. And then on the chase setting, we can actually change the speed. So if we want it to go faster, we just slide that. If we want it to go slower, we slide that the other way. Really cool, you can do that. You can also go ahead and change the brightness by decreasing it as well. This is the second bar here. Then with that, you also have the option to choose right chase, center chase, split chase. If you want to go the reverse way, you can also do bounce, where the light goes from one end and bounces back. You can also do breathe, which I really like that one. Then you have twin peaks, strobe, and of course, let's speed strobe up so you can see it in fast strobe. Then we got burst, which let's slow burst down. Tsunami, which just another effect. We've got wave, which is a combination of a couple of them. Double wave, rush, bunny, off, and then back to solid. What's also cool is you can also put all the zones together. So by dragging each of the numbers and place them on top of each other, you can pair them all up together. This is pretty cool because in the event you want to just move them all together, you can easily do that by pairing them all up. And then from here, you can actually pull each one out. So if I click 4, I can pull 4 out and do what I want by separately. Another cool thing you can do on this page is you can actually do chameleon, where you click the chameleon at the bottom right. That gives you this screen, and then you're going to take this and put it up to the item you want, and then click the chameleon, and that is going to match that color for the lights. So if we want all lights to be that color, let's do that one more time. So we just click it, hit chameleon, that now selects the light to blue. So a really cool feature what you can do on this page. The next little tab at the bottom is theme. We'll click on theme. We're going to get preset themes that are available. We've got this Knight Rider one here. We can click Valentine, Traffic Beater. There's In and Out. There's Rainbow. There's a bunch of them. You can go Christmas, Meteor, tons of different preset options. And what's really cool in the presets is you can also click the Customize to change certain colors. So if we don't want to use yellow, we can actually change it to pink, and then we'll have pink in there. We can do weird color in there. We can also do, you can do whatever you want. You can also add more colors if you want more colors to be added. So really cool that you can do things, and you can also delete things. You can also change the pattern down below. So if we want it to be a rainbow, center light, split, you really see how things are different. And then, of course, you can hit save, or in our case, we're just going to cancel. For that, you can also select which zone you want to do what. So some zones can do certain things, other zones can do other things. You can really preset all of them in different ways. The next tab we have is Magic. Magic is a cool one because it is based on the microphone from your phone or your phone. Right now you can see it's picking up the mic and then creating colors based on that. So we've got Equalizer that's doing that. Equalizer, you can actually change the sensitivity so it can be super sensitive. So it's picking up everything, even my breathing. And then the other thing is you can go the other way, which can be less sensitive. So yeah, that is very interesting. And then from there, you got options like Glide, which is a little bit different. Keeps a solid color. You got Fire, which is interesting because it's like different colors. Meteor, different there. Rainbow. Yeah, a bunch of options. Rocket. This is really cool. If you're in an event, you're playing music, you can actually play the music and catch the sound. One thing you can also do is you can also change the way it goes. So right now it's going to the right, but you can also change to the left. You can have it come from the center. Yeah, a few different options on that second row there. At the bottom here, you can select different themes, I guess. Oh, yeah, you can change the themes to Thanksgiving if you want it to do Thanksgiving colors. So that's where you can change the colors. And of course, you can edit which colors as well. The next thing we have is configuration. If we click on configuration, this is where you get into some of the settings for this. So the first thing we have is connect lights. Click on this. There are some really cool features in here because here you have each of the zones located, but on each of the zones, you can actually add lights and chain them together. And what's really cool is you can program them to, affect the way the chase light goes. So for example, if we're on B, we can actually go ahead and add another light. In here, you have a full list of all the Jeep stuff or all the lights they offer. In this case, when we click on Jeep, you're going to see all the lights. So say we wanted to add to this Fender light, we want to add a 49-inch panel gap light. We can click that, and you can see it adds it to here. Then you can go ahead and even add another one. So let's add, let's say for some reason we hit grill lights to that. What that's going to do is that's going to create a chain that's going to show you how the chase feature goes. So the chase feature will hit one of them, then move to the next one, then move to the next one, and so on. This is really cool in the event that you want a color to move from the front of the vehicle to the back. You can program it to do so. If you want to arrange them or move them around, you can just simply drag them. You can also drag them to delete them. So we're going to delete those because we don't have them. This is going to be really cool to show you guys. Once we get all of the lights onto the Jeep, we'll be able to play with this and show you some features. In here, you also have more. In the more area, you can load kits presets so they can pre-design it. You can also auto assign zones and clear mapping. This is cool because it's nice to see they have presets because it gives you the ability to just load one of those instead of trying to figure it out. Let's hit cancel and let's head back. So the next option we have is startup animations. So if you click this, this is going to give you the ability to choose what the startup sequence is. So when you turn the system on, it's going to do a startup sequence. This is pretty cool. Some people like this thing. So like when they click the on button, then the light will do something cool. Yeah, let's play with this later. Right now, we're just going to leave it, but you can also preset which zone does what. You can have multiple ones doing the same thing. You can only have one doing it. You can have all of them doing it. Looks like you can only have one preset for the vehicle, but pretty nice to see. You can also choose how many times you want it to repeat. Oh, here's where you can choose like which section as well. You don't have to go in that way. So if we wanted just our one section to do it, we could set that up. And of course, you can customize it to whatever you want. Lots of things you can do with this app. So the next thing we have are default modes. In the default modes, you have preset things. For example, I can turn it off by just hitting that button, or I can go full white by pressing that. You can also customize what you want to do. You can also do custom presets. And then, of course, back into the preset sequences that are available. And again, you can select which zones you want to do that. The next one is the sensor wires. This is a cool feature. As I showed on the controller, the controller had 3 wires coming out of it. What I didn't know is that the wires are programmable as well, and they kind of come predetermined. So you actually have 3. I thought there might have been only 2, but in this case, this system was already set up for one to be brake, one to be a turn signal, and the other one to be another turn signal. In here, you actually can click them and change what you want them to do. So, for example, if my red wire actually had set up as a turn signal, I could click the turn signal one and have it do my turn signal on this side. So let's have it do the turn signal. So you can see you can have it do that. You can also have it do a chase the other way. You can also do a solid amber turn signal. So that would flash based on the trigger. And then you can also do solid brakes with a strobe, no change. You can do turn off if you wanted something to turn off everything. You can do that. You can also do solid whites. And of course, you could trigger other things. But again, I'm not sure how much you're going to want that to happen, but it is an option. So what this gives you the ability to do is you can set up trigger wires that are connected to switches or to systems. So in the event that our brake light turns on, I could have it set up to brake. If my turn signal goes, I could tap into my turn signal. Another thing you can do is with the solid white is you can tap it into a door sequence. So in the event you open a door, you could have the white lights turn on as an ambient entry light. Might be something I'm going to explore, but again, some of these things I'm probably only going to set up once I have the whole system installed. So if we head back, the next thing we get is our key fob. So this is the little key fob that you can add to the system. So what's cool about this is you can use this as a switch. So the first thing you need to do is pair it. You hit pair. It says it's already paired this, but if for some reason it says not pairing, what you do is you press this button and then it pairs. From here, you can then preset each button. To do that, you're going to click A. A is going to bring up this. From here, you can set what you want it to do. So we want it to affect all of the zones. We want A to, what we're going to actually set it up to do is turn off. So let's set that, and let's go back. Then we're going to go to B. Let's set up B to go all white. Then let's go back to C, and we're going to put C to, let's say, traffic beater. And back. So now, with the remote, if I click A, it turns it off. If I click B, it turns on white. Again, A turns off. And then C turns on the effect. So really cool that they give you a controller to use so that you don't have to use your mobile device and you can have quick settings. This actually is something I might program just so I have quick access to certain things. Now, if we go back, we have 2 more things on this page, general settings. In general settings, you can change the XKGlow name. You can change that to whatever you want. So you can change the controller name, Evolved Jeep. Let's just change that. You can do whatever you really need to, but you can just change the name. So now we know that is my Jeep. Then you have video guides. Click video guides. You're going to see all of the videos for all the different setups from XKGlow. It's really nice that they have quick access for you, so you don't have to dive into like YouTube to find them. You can just find them right here in their app. Then you have feedback. This is where you can actually write feedback and like issues or comments, and you can add photos and you can send it directly to them. So it's kind of nice. You can say, oh, good job, or you can give good feedback, or bad feedback. Whatever you need to do, you can send it this way, and I'm sure they'll comment back to you. And then the last little round circle of the tab is circle. You're going to click that. That is going to take you to the XKGlow circle. In here, you're going to have a profile where you can log in and agree to things. You can also see what other people are posting. You can see all the features. It's just like a little, club, XKGlow club. I've never really used it, but it might be something that will interest some of you guys. I'm sure XKGlow also adds a bunch of stuff in here as well. Well, guys, as you just saw, the XKMax app is packed full of features and functionality. And honestly, the possibilities for the glow light are pretty much endless. You have a full range of colors to choose from. You have a full range of lighting effects to apply to those colors. And they also give you a full range of themes or preset themes to choose from, as well as you can customize those themes and create your own. And what's really cool is with that app, you can also color match using the camera on your phone. That is a really cool feature. And as you saw, it works really well. Overall, I have to say that app they've created is really cool and really well done. You know, I've used their previous one, and this current one is pretty much the same, but it's on steroids. And the reason is mainly due to the fact of the chase light feature and the complexity that that's brought to the system. And I have to say, they did a really good job at it. The app is not overcomplicated yet, you know, easy to use. It's the perfect level. You know, anybody with some experience with mobile apps should be able to understand it. For myself, what's going to be the true test for the app is once I get more of the XKMax products on this Jeep, and I'm able to actually program some of those features. It's going to be really cool to test it out and to see how it works. So you have to stay tuned to see some of the other videos to see how the system all comes together and how I use that app to make it all really work. At this point, guys, it's time to kind of give a review on this product. I have to say, I love this edition. I love the first version, and I'm glad to see they came out with a new version that's linked to their new system. What I really like about the light is the functionality. So I always loved the fact that I had a side turn signal with this light, so I have the ability to have that. The glow light's cool. It's great when you're doing different things. What's going to be really cool is once I use the trigger wire for the whole system. Again, the trigger wire is not necessarily for this. I read their instructions and they said it doesn't apply if you buy the controller, but it might work with the entire system. That's something we're going to have to see, because maybe it will work and it might be something we add, but that again, something we're going to have to see in later videos of this mini-series. Yeah, love the light. Installation of this was complicated, but easy enough to understand. Again, you just have to remove the fender and then wire everything up. Again, I do suggest that if anybody is doing this, that they purchase the Infinite Off-Road plug adapter. Again, forget the name, but I will put the link below. That is the best thing you could add to this because it makes wiring this up super easy. Honestly, XKGlow, come out with one of those for your system, or better yet, make the end of this that, so that you can easily just plug it in. You don't have to do anything custom. Yeah, so again, recommend that product. For the product, looks great. Again, the quality, I know it lasts. I've seen that. One thing to note is that when I did remove the other one, and I'll show it right here, you can actually see the old one did yellow a bit. So the lens yellow a bit, but it wasn't that extreme. And again, that's been on the Jeep for 4 years. So it was really cool to see how that came together. Yeah, guys, overall, happy about this. I really can't wait to see how this ties together with the complete system on the Jeep. Again, you have to stay tuned for this mini-series to see how it all comes together. If you're interested in picking up this product, what I'm going to do is put a link below to the XKGlow website. And if you're there, you can actually use the code EvolvedJeeping10 to save yourself 10% on your order. If you're an Amazon buyer, I will put the Amazon link for this product down below as well. You know, hopefully there is one, but I will put one. So if you want to buy it on Amazon, you can easily do that. Again, guys, buy the Infinite Off-Road plug and play if you're doing the installation. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you found it informative. Hopefully you guys now understand what this light can do and all the features. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below and I'll do the best to answer them. As usual, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Keep evolving, and we'll see you guys on the next XKMax video.